little bit of a recap here, wouldn't go amiss, about some properties of square roots. If we want to find the square root of a times b, remember we can write that as the square root of a times the square root of b. Also, remember if we have the square root of a, it's the same as a to the power a half. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got here. X is equal to 9 times 10 to the power 2m, and we want to find the square root of x. Well, to start with, the square root of x is just going to be the square root of 9 times 10 to the power 2m. And using this property over here, I can split that into the square root of 9 times the square root of 10 to the power 2m. Now, the square root of 9 I know is 3, so that's not too bad. This bit over here, that's a little bit nastier. But if I write it as 10 to the power 2m to the power a half, then it becomes a little bit more pleasant. So I'm going to leave my 3 there. I know, because of my laws of indices, that if I've got a to the power b and it's to the power c, then all I need to do is multiply together the two powers to get a to the power bc. So here I've got 10 to the power 2m to the power a half. I'm going to multiply together these two powers, and a half times 2m, or 2m times a half, is just m. So my expression for the square root of x is 3 times 10 to the power m. Okay, similar idea here for part B. I've got y is 9 times 10 to the power 2n, and I want y to the power 3 over 2. Well, y is the same as 9 times 10 to the power 2n, which means that y to the power 3 over 2 is just going to be the right-hand side, to the power 3 over 2. Okay, now same idea as up here. If you've got a times b to the power n, then it's the same as a to the power n times b to the power n. I can multiply each term. I can write each term individually to the power and multiply them together. So here I can write 9 times 10 to the power 2n to the power 3 over 2 as 9 to the power 3 over 2 times 10 to the power 2n to the power 3 over 2. Now, 9 to the power 3 over 2, we know that the bottom of the fraction tells us that we need to find the square root of 9. The top of the top number is the power, so we need to find the square root of 9 cubed. I'll do that in a minute. Now here, again, using the laws of indices, I'm going to multiply these two powers together. Now if I do 2n times 3 over 2, if you like, that's 2n over 1 times 3 over 2. The 2's cancel, and I'm left with 3n. So this 10 becomes 10 to the power 3n. Now if I work out the square root of 9, well, I know the square root of 9 is 3. 3 cubed then is what I need to work out, so times 10 to the 3n. This then is 27 times 10 to the power 3n. Now unfortunately, 27 times 10 to the power 3n is not in standard form. For it to be in standard form, this number needs to be between 1 and 10. So I'm going to divide the 27 by 10 to make it 2.7. Now, in order to adjust that, if I've divided this part of the number by 10, I need to multiply this part of my standard form number by 10. And when you have a power of 10, like 10 to the power 7, if you multiply it by 10, the power goes up by 1 and becomes 10 to the power 8, for example. So here I have 10 to the power 3n. If I multiply it by 10, the power goes up 1. And if I have 3n and I make it go up 1, or I add 1, it becomes 3n plus 1. So my answer in standard form is 2.7 times 10 to the power 3n plus 1.